I'm just thinking of if someone came to me with this show and was like, could you design something like this? I'd be like, no, no one on earth can.
Fucking yes.
I know, I mean, a movie, I'd be like, yeah, let's do it. For a musical, I'd be like, no, this is the worst idea. This is the worst. Hello there, and welcome to the Co-Struction Podcast. These two have come into my home and awoken me from my slumber. I've been up for about 10 minutes, so I'm going to pass along this little torch. I'm Anthony Wilkinson, by the way.
I'm Josh Robbins.
Linnea Andersson.
I guess we're going to start off by talking about one of our newest franchises we've launched, the Cold War Cowgirls. Now, I think this has been testing very well in everywhere but the French Canadian quadrant.
Fuck the Canadians.
Yeah, we don't want that quadrant. And it's actually a good thing. You actually want to be doing poorly in that region.
Right. I mean, it's a direct market inverse.
Because everyone knows there's 4 regions. There's America. There's Central Africa, Middle Europe, and French Canada are the 4 regions, and so
in the whole world.
Yeah,
no, those are just the where testing matters.
Yeah, and so but we're doing bad in French Canada, but
French Canadian, French Canadian.
Yes, but what exactly is this? It was our story about the animal shape-shifting secret agents, man of Uncle meets Animorphs.
Okay, like picture like early film, like not early, but like 70s and 80s, that kind of overtone. You know what I'm saying? With like film grain is kind of there, and it's kind of like the color's not like popping, but it's like, you know. I
assume this is an after effect, and you're not suggesting we go back into the 1970s to make
the film.
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah, more just like the aesthetic. That's how I picture it.
That's fair.
It feels like a Cold War movie.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Soviet era camera technology.
I think I made this joke last week, but I feel like this is more like a sequel to Cowboy Bebop. I think we need to get that anime team back in here.
Or
and have them
a sequel to Cowboy Bebop live action.
No, I like it as an anime better. Sorry,
well, everyone knows
that'd be just weird live action.
Well, let's think about it. Everyone knows how well received every live action anime is. So,
yeah, it goes perfectly every time.
Oof. Anyway, let's get some numbers going. I'm feeling number.
Yeah, let's just find. You guys roll. Just keep rolling numbers. Just see what happens.
Yeah.
No, so we're gonna roll our numbers now to choose our random influences. First off, we're going to roll for our 2 influences. This will be 2 numbers between 1 and 60. First number is 59. High school?
Fuck yeah. Into it.
Oh, all right.
So this is high school, like High School Drama, High School Musical, the Netflix show about the girl with the big man shoes.
Dumbasses. Okay.
No.
No? High school?
And then 50. Rock and roll. It's rock and roll high school, everybody.
School of Rock. Feels like the natural direction.
School of Rock. So now we got to roll for our 3 major events. Now this is 3 numbers between 1 and 137. First number is 133. So there's karma.
Ooh, fun.
Interesting.
That's fun.
Why
is it capitalized?
Those bullies are about to get what's coming to them.
Why is it cap locks?
Because science. 107. There are hybrids of some
We've done
kind.
that.
We've done genetic modification. We haven't done hybrids.
Fuck it. Okay.
Hybrids doesn't need to be. This is vague, so we can take this in whatever direction. There just has to be some form of hybrid in it. And then the last one is 16. What the fuck is happening outside right now?
Oh, you know.
Is there 8 planes landing on my roof? The door was not closed.
That would do it.
And 16, There's a magic artifact of some kind.
Right.
And lastly, we got to roll for our inhabitants. So in addition to humans, if there will be anything in addition, we got 32, which is kaiju.
Okay, I don't even know what that is. What
Those
is?
are Godzillas, basically. Kaiju, did you ever see the movie Pacific Rim?
Familiar.
Like, kaiju just means big-ass monster.
It means Godzilla?
Basically, like, Godzilla is one of the kaiju. But
Okay.
it means more like, it includes, like, all of the giant monsters, like Mothra or the guys
Sort
from
of like
Pacific
Titans?
Rim. Yeah, they're just big monsters. Big monsters.
All
They're
right.
big monsters.
Like how, like skyscraper big.
We've got a lot. We've got a lot to get into here.
I think the first thing we have to decide is it human and kaiju, or is this a kaiju rock and roll high school?
This is a kaiju rock and roll high school. I love that.
Imagine I mean
Just
hold on. Let me get my fucking juices going.
My name's Mothra, and it's time to rock thra.
Okay, but
it just screeches.
so there are humans and there are the kaiju.
So we are still having humans.
Yeah, we should still have humans because someone has to witness them in their giant school being crazy.
Okay, what if we kind of split this genre a little bit?
Okay.
And there are humans and there are kaiju, but it's two very different movies from the perspective, because the teenage kaiju are just trying to make it through high school, and the humans are trapped in this giant horror hellscape.
So sort of like the borrowers. Like the borrowers in high school of
like
kaijus.
there's no direct threat to them except for the fact that the kaijus exist.
Like they just wake up and they're like, we come to, and like there's all these people like in this giant ass like kitchen lunchroom. They're like looking around like, what the fuck is going on? Like what the, and then it's like fucking like Godzilla with a hairnet like walks in. And they're like, everyone hide, oh my god, scatter.
We need to
Godzilla doesn't even notice. Like
we need to discuss the scale of each of these. So are the human? How big are the humans relative to the kaiju?
I mean, and well, let's look up the average height of a human.
Average height of a kaiju.
Average height of human. Looks about 5 feet 9 inches.
That doesn't sound right. Seems a bit tall.
I don't know.
Yeah.
seems about right.
Average height of Godzilla. And this is an average, obviously. So it's not a super scientific answer.
Okay.
Well, it depends. Do you want new Godzilla or original Godzilla? Do you want new Godzilla or Godzilla classic?
Let's go with the most recent Godzilla. I feel like
new Godzilla is 350 feet. So yeah.
So
For reference, a 10-story building is approximately 100 feet. Thank you for that.
What's the original Godzilla?
164 feet.
Ooh.
The original Godzilla was only the size of a 20-story building. That's not crazy big.
Let's just take it. Yeah, I mean about a
But I mean,
17-story
that's,
building.
big enough.
I mean, yeah, it's bigger than me.
Approximately.
I wouldn't find it.
I mean, yeah.
So here's what it looks like. This is a nice little image of them all walking side by side. Okay, these are the Pacific Rim kaiju, I think, actually.
Oh, those look like fun.
Yeah, and
Mothras and Pacific Rim.
They're like
oh no, I guess it's a mixture.
it's like barnacle-clad dinosaurs.
Yeah, and then this looks like the guy from like.
That's what they look like, man. An alien.
Yeah, like the idea is these are like ancient beasts that are from ancient beasts or ancient aliens that we somehow awaken with our hubris, mining or throwing parties in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. A lot of times they come out of the ocean.
Okay, so yeah.
But yeah, the main thing is they are very large, very large.
And what are they angry about? I mean, we can make that up.
Teen angst.
It's
Just
like
trying to get through high school.
That's so true. Okay, so Kaiju High School.
Yeah, I think maybe that's what's going on. It's just testosterone. Like they're coming back. Like basically every time they go and destroy a city, that's like an away game for them.
Sure.
Like, cause like we always see kaiju fighting and stuff, and like maybe Godzilla isn't a kaiju. He's a team. It's the Godzillas. They're like the undefeated team, right? and they keep going to go fight at Godzilla school while the rest of the kaiju who go to
So okay, there's like Titan
Kaiju Haiju.
So there's Titan High School. There's like Godzilla High School. Like there's different like high schools of different giant beasts.
Well, basically, I was just saying is like so
Hear
like
me
the
out.
Godzillas are like the rich kids, but then there's kind of this mixed mass group because I think that we have the subplot of like this is kind of like the down and out team of misfits, like kind of Sandlot-esque. All these kaiju are all just playing the wrong things, and we got to have a new kaiju coach. Maybe it's one of the humans.
I was literally about to say that. You get a human coach.
How does the human communicate with the kaiju?
Well, I think
Telepathically?
maybe they speak the king's English, or
Why not?
The
Or-
Australians' English.
they eat some funny mushrooms and they can talk to them.
Who eats the funny mushrooms?
Both parties must eat the funny mushrooms.
Maybe just the
You're
problem
for it.
was people weren't being loud enough.
Just
So megaphones always.
Hey.
All humans carry around like standard issue megaphone to communicate with the kaiju.
Yeah, so it starts out in this weird like
Right.
I think what makes honestly now that if this is the route we're gonna take, I say it's less they wake up in the lunchrooms, they just wake up in this field and they're like giant grass and everything, which they're kind of weird. Are like, where am I? And then you see the kaiju are come like stomping along, and then we start to pull out and we see it's actually a practice football field. And
Bro.
all these kaiju.
Bro. Okay, so we got a group of humans who then wake up like from this reality, right? This reality group of humans wake up in kaiju world.
Well, I think there's an attack going on.
Mm-hmm.
I think the actual like the sort of thing is there's an attack going on and they get grabbed up or they get caught in Mothra's fur or something like that. And they're basically being flown away, and as they like ascend up, they lose consciousness and then they wake up in this field. And they're like, where are we? What happened?
In this
We're not
new
dead.
world where they've established themselves, essentially.
Yeah.
Well, they'll have to
The-
survive, right?
Yeah, you need high school to survive.
Yeah.
Well, the humans just kind of just avoid getting crushed at that point, realistically.
Yeah. I mean, I think there are different ways. Like
What?
one of the humans could be kept in like a little glass enclosure. Like it could be like one of like like they're like the nerdy kid has like a bug, like he's like there's this one kaiju who's like this is my specimen that I found when we were playing the game against the Godzillas last week. And it's like one of the human and like one of the like that's my friend Derek, and it's like Derek's just chilling in there.
He's having a good
I'm
time.
really trying to like weave some continuity into this. So like,
It's
Good
kind of
luck.
this
I know.
freeform jazz, baby. We still
no, we're
we
done
need-
with fucking
It
jazz.
just needs
Jazz is over.
We just
Jazz
need
is
to
2
skip out
weeks ago?
Badoo.
I think
It's all
so.
about
2 episodes
it's all about
Yeah.
the plot elements you don't say.
Jazz was my whole night last night.
Um, I was just up to my neck in jazz last night. Just
Truly, I was.
round after round of jazz all over me. The hybrids is something we still need to address.
Okay, so human this thing hybrid.
Are you saying they fuck?
I'm saying it's
They
possible.
fucked,
Maybe.
but
Maybe.
This
I'm
is
not
a whole
saying
porn.
no.
No.
This is a whole porn category.
Oh.
If you guys didn't know
Oh.
that.
Oh.
No.
You didn't know what kaiju was 30 seconds ago, but now
No,
you know
monster
that
human fucking porn. It's like a thing. It has a name that escapes me.
you just want to pull up your search history really quick.
It'd probably take a while. I think it was about a year ago.
Yeah,
It was research. Hear me out. It was for research.
is
Yeah.
So hybrid's the last element that we're missing, correct?
Yes.
We got everything else. What were karma.
You wrote them
Karma's
down.
another big one.
Mm-hmm.
Karma, and what was the other one?
Rock and
Rock and
roll.
roll.
Well, no, it's karma, hybrid,
Magic artifact.
and a magic artifact. So the magic artifact's what lets them communicate with the kaiju. I think that should be.
Okay.
That's an
gilded
easy way.
megaphone.
Yeah.
It's like now,
That
but it should be
translates
it
as
should be
they
called
speak.
it should be called the cone of like, and then I should have some like long ancient name.
Yeah.
Because like this is just a megaphone. Like
Yeah, the fucking megaphone.
to pierce the ears of the kaiju, you need the artifact older than time itself, the cone of kaiju.
Kaiju mega megaphone.
It's just like one of those cones they use like football games.
Yeah.
It's literally
It's
like
actually
with
a
a
parking.
handle.
It's a parking
Yeah.
cone.
Oh,
An
even
orange
better.
an orange cone that they picked up off of a concrete
Yeah, because
block.
there's also, I think there needs to be like an old crazy guy who's been living in this world for a while, who like helps rescue him. Like, he's like, it's like the classic, like they're running along the side of the building and suddenly this like old man's like, quick in here. And he opens up like this panel in like this tiny little door in the side of like in the side of like the building, and he's like, I never thought I'd see humans again. Like,
so karma is our kaiju are technically invaders, right? Like what's our hero? We need to decide that. Is a hero a human or is it a?
I mean, once again, I think there's two stories going on.
Figure out a few other things first.
Well, I mean.
That's why I think there's two storylines going on here. So we have our hero team of kaiju, and we have our hero team of humans.
Okay.
We need to learn to work together
via rock and roll. They form a band.
Basically, the kaiju make a deal with these humans that if the humans can teach them how to win, they will move their football game to a less populated area.
Okay, cool.
So wait. Why does this be centered around football?
It doesn't. They could play soccer.
They could win Battle of the Bands.
Badminton.
The humans have to teach the kaiju how to play instruments.
Badminton.
Okay, so is whenever they're fighting, is that just Godzilla trying to sing and he's blasting them away with his good vocals? Because I'm trying to build in like, how does the city keep getting destroyed by these kaiju?
Is that what's happening?
They're in high school, aren't they? Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
They're just mad. They're just teens. They're just angry.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's less. So wait, so is Godzilla not the bad guy? Are they just getting in street? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like,
fair enough.
Like, so are they just teaching the kaiju to play music so they'll chill out?
Right. Okay, I got it. So New York City, kaiju dropped a high school literally upon Central Park. It's causing all this ruckus like all the time, right? Because they're like also for their football/band school, like whatever, right? And so like. There's a group of teens who are like, we gotta like save the day, whatever. And so they go up into their high school, or they go to their high school, and they're like trying to like talk to them, and somehow the artifact found by some hobo because it's New York, and fuck it, and so it's about like this story where it's like, hey, like let's like get along together. You're like basically on top of our only park. All the bitches in yoga pants. Upset. Side reference.
Also, all the people who died.
I mean, there were only
carnage.
Only about like 176 people were there when the high school dropped.
Here's the only reason I'm going to.
Where did the high school go?
I want to give one last pitch for why I think they should be playing a sport of something or doing something physical.
Yeah.
Because you can have the opening scene where you're seeing these flashes of like these cameras, like seeing monsters crash into buildings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then when you find out what's really going on later on and you see those flashbacks, you see that he's actually like, when he falls into a building, he actually like catches a ball and then stumbles into a building. It wasn't like. How
can we make football and rock like the same activity? Because that's what I would like.
Like football and rock and roll. I think that they teach them by using rock and roll. They can gain an advantage.
Okay, I feel that.
Because this is so goddamn stupid. Everything we've said.
Okay, great. Yeah. Like, we're all on the same page.
I'm not here. I'm not here trying to be like, guys, this is the next Citizen Kane.
No.
This is
So that's why I'm saying in New York Central Park, because it's stupid.
Yeah, like,
okay.
And that's why I'm saying like I kind of want to embrace like, and yes, I think it does. It's happening in New York and like other things are getting destroyed, but yeah, they're playing in Central Park, but it keeps getting like spread out across. And the humans are actually under the impression, because it's classic kaiju is that like Godzilla, and maybe we move away from Godzilla and other copyrighted monsters.
Yeah, let's work with just them and the humans.
We don't want them up on our ass about these copyrights. Boys in Legal, they keep coming to me telling me I gotta stop using these copyrighted characters.
Me too.
But so
they don't talk to me.
There are these monsters that just show up and like and just like go at it, and all that people know is that here's the thing: when the other team, when these monsters win and these other monsters slink off back into whatever, the other monsters like celebrate and like destroy half the city. Like
giant toilet paper just like strung across buildings and things like that.
Do they just TP? Like,
I mean, they're
big
partying, man. Like
cities?
streamers, like whatever
Like,
happens.
I think there
in
are
a
like
party.
big streams of like slime or
Yeah,
whatever that are the
giant-
same as like when we see like the other perspectives. I think there's also like there's the language thing where we're seeing it when it's the kaiju, it's just like.
Have language.
But when
barrier.
you have the cone, you can actually understand what's going on. Or when we're seeing it from the perspective of the kaiju, you actually hear it, and these guys are like, "We fucking did it, yeah, man! Hey, watch this, woo!"
I'd like to imagine that this cone has like a headphone jack, so you could also hear what it is. So you could understand, because we speak through it to speak to them, right?
Yeah.
Well, then you just put your ear to it.
What?
You understand it. Why not?
That's hilarious. Just like turn this thing and just screaming words at you. Like,
Yeah.
So they're also like,
oh, fuck.
so I also like that as this, because I imagine it's not just one person, it's like a few people. I don't imagine a big group of people are involved in this monster high school, but it's like 2 or 3 of it, and maybe this monster high school is under the water, because usually that's where they emerge from, is the ocean. And so they get dragged down in the ocean, and they get caught in this air pocket with this monster that's dragging them down, and they wake up in this air pocket. And I'm sorry, I'm talking through, I'm kind of skipping around, but I like the idea of them having to pass around the cone to understand the monsters. Like
everyone gets a snippet of each conversation.
Yeah.
They have to put it together.
Where were we? What were we even talking about?
Well,
This idea is so dumb, I can't follow it.
Listen, here's what I want, and here's what is in my head, okay? I want this random kaiju high school to literally just appear out of nowhere overnight in New York City, Central Park, and for all the humans to be like, what the fuck? And then they're just dealing with this.
Really could we just agree that the name of this movie is going to be called Kaiju? It's going to be like high, but it's spelled like with the kaiju
For
way.
sure.
It's going to be very confusing when people look at it. I want the general tone
mass
of this.
confusion.
I think the feeling we should be going for at all times is
chaos.
confusing. Like
confusion
like
and
this,
nonsense.
At all times, people should be like, what the fuck is going on in this movie? It should feel like they are dropping DMT when they walk into this
Yeah, for
thing.
sure.
This is the last throes of their dying mind before they escape into the abyss of death is what we are describing right now.
And here's the final scene. A group of teenagers waking up after a terrible trip.
And it's no.
Absolutely not.
I would rather it start to
Absolutely not.
snow, and I'd rather it start to snow and then we zoom out and we're in a big snow globe. Like that's that's what I'm saying it needs to be.
Truly
the ending of the movie is actually pretty obvious. The end of the movie is them like
that was pretty obvious.
Yeah, the end of the movie is them putting on a big Kaiju Palooza music festival as the monsters help them rebuild the town like they're giant fucking Lego bricks. Like that's the sweet ending scene is they fucking win the big game and then everyone's like it's the humans riding on the Kaiju shoulders. They're like putting beams of broken buildings and like bending steel back into place.
Okay, so
the humans playing the instruments?
I think so. I think it's
everybody should be playing these fucking instruments.
So like these kaiju like have these humans in like little jars or like how do they team up?
Yeah, that's so yeah. I'm just saying. I think where we get to the end is that I just also love the idea of there's like this band playing on this stage, and then behind them the lead singer comes and it's just a fucking giant lizard.
Sanity check.
Here for it.
So because I think this follows. I think it would be pretty easy to make this follow the standard like underdog sports movie formula.
Who are the kaiju playing?
They're just playing the rich kaiju.
Okay, so
where's
their school?
So, oh my god, here's what no joke. Here's what it is. So that's like a classic thing in Godzilla and kaiju movies. It's the monsters versus robots, right? The rich kid school is the robots.
Oh my god.
They're having to fight the giant mechs.
So it's kaiju versus mechs.
Yes.
And where are they located?
And we can say the mechs are technically like
I'm comfortable with them living in the sewers of New York where they like
the robots live in the sewers.
Yeah,
the mechs are way too big.
The mechs come from the sky, man, like from spaceships.
Fuck it. Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
I'm just trying to say, if we're gonna go rich kid, they need to be elevated. They need to be like.
Okay, so they live in the sky, so they think this
rich
giant.
Kids are in
space. So kind of
and,
like District 9 now. There's like this giant fucking floating thing in the air.
Yeah, and I think how we can get hybrids into this is they're like androids pretty much. They're like robot human hybrid kind of like.
What if
in order to pilot these mechs, they have to have some sort of like.
What if they're just like? No. So they're an advanced society, right? Of kaiju. So they're robot kaiju.
Yeah, they're like decked out.
Right.
They're kind of that would work, and that way we have the hybrid. So it's it's like the regular. We can't afford those fancy. We can't afford that fancy technology. We're the art school going against the school of science. And
so are the robot kaiju like just independently controlled, or like the humans control the robot kaiju?
No, the humans' planet just happened to be where they decided to settle.
They're just fucking there, man.
They
like,
just showed the fuck up.
All right.
And the humans are just like, what the fuck? Like, like that.
It's like, guys ever see the movie Hoot?
Yes.
No.
Humans are just basically like the little burrowing out.
Yeah,
they're just kind of there, and like, no one cares about them. Except for one boy.
Except for one nerdy kaiju.
I did not think I'd be thinking about Hoot today.
I know.
It was a solid movie.
It was very cute.
Yeah.
Good. I would kind of recommend it if you had nothing else to do in your life.
Yeah. Anyways. So we got our kaiju playing the rich kid Robo
Mech kaiju.
So what we need to smoosh in there is karma. Now, because it is all caps lock, maybe we can make it an acronym.
Well, also maybe there could just be a general philosophy, and
is that the religion of the kaiju is karma?
I wouldn't even say that, but maybe it's something about like the humans, because like once again, this has to be this weird like over the top like how we get from point A to point B. There's gonna be some like dumb ass Disney Channel like bullshit about like how you gotta be like. The real power comes from friendship and from kindness, and if you put good out there, then good will come to you. And like that's like maybe that's kind of
okay.
That's the lesson from the old hobo when he gives them the cone.
Rock and roll, like participating in that directly increases your karma. Now, karma in the kaiju world. Bear with me. I'm making this up as I go.
Yeah, because any of this was pre-planned.
I know, right? I mean, honestly, before I even speak. Rock and roll, it makes them better at football. Okay, karma makes them better at football.
Maybe karma is just football juice, man.
So like kaiju sweat is karma.
I'm just
so the rock and roll actually is like a pet band for the kaiju.
Here's what I will say. I do think it's cheating for us just to call something karma when karma is a thing already.
Well, I mean, this is our new universe. Okay. How about this?
I think it goes against the spirit of what we do here if we make up something new and just call that.
No. I'm not calling it that yet. So it still is going to do what that karma is, which is if you do a good thing, right? And then the idea is like this universe of checks and balances, and good things will happen to you inadvertently, eventually, whatever. Karma, serendipity, who gives a shit? So. Rock and roll is a good thing. Okay? Rock and roll is a good thing. It brings people together. It's music. It's dance. It's like all of these pro-social things. Karma...
tears people apart. Sorry.
Karma... almost there. I have something. There's something in my head. I feel it, but it's like periphery.
I think it's... Because, and then here's the thing, like, I'm not enough of an authority to speak on, like, Japanese culture and religion, but I know that karma it originated in Asia and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, this is very much a genre that started out, like, the whole kaiju monster thing started out in that same region.
Kaiju, robots are kind of like, abandoning the idea of karma and just being kind of shitty.
Yeah. But
right.
I think also like these kaiju don't even really comprehend that they're doing bad until these humans come talk to them.
Okay.
And I think that maybe it is just like the kaiju literally believe in karma.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's like a plot, like it's not like the most important thing in the movie is us like having to explain that.
So
they're like, oh man, we're gonna stop being so awful to these people.
I got this. It's there. Okay. So the ones inhabiting Central Park. Right? Like, they keep on losing and losing and losing to the robot ones over and over again because they don't realize they're doing bad every time they're practicing. So that's the karma in their religion or their belief negatively building up. And so they lose and lose and lose because they are inadvertently like knocking buildings over and whatever. And then we have like our band of like teenagers humans are, in our nerdy one kaiju who's like, who figures it out. The nerdy one, we're losing because we keep on ruining these things that we didn't even realize.
Well, yeah, and I think that's the kaiju that interacts with the humans.
Yeah, right. And so, he's the one that observed it. He's like, oh, we lost because we knocked over that building.
He figures it out because like he either finds or like just communicates with the human as the kaiju.
I think. Yes. I think it should be like the little runt weakling kind of like.
Right. Yeah. It's only the size of Lady Liberty's foot, like whatever.
Yeah, he's only 100 feet tall.
Yeah, he's only a 10 story.
That's what I'm saying. Visuals.
Also, definitely like the final when they go to like have to score their final touchdown. I think that all of the mech robots form like a giant super mech.
What, just like roll over
this
them?
Grotesque android.
No joke, like this huge, like massive, like technology and flesh.
However
that, like,
many heads
together.
are football players.
Horrifying.
Like that.
It just like falls apart on itself.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, and then they use the power of friendship and karma to break through it,
and the magic artifact.
And music is also important.
Yeah, I mean,
they amplify the rock and roll through the cone.
Like no joke. Yeah. Like I think it's maybe like part of like you get because like we have like
becomes like rich Skrillex like.
Well, we could talk through like what some of these
Scott Pilgrim versus the World sound creature thing there. Sorry.
Well, it could also be like all these monsters. Yes. Like usually kaiju have like a distinct like power or something like that. So all these things have like a different thing. Well, it's like Godzilla could shoot his beams from his mouth and like Mothra could fly and from Pacific Rim, like the different types of kaiju had different abilities. I think I'm honestly Pacific Rim didn't hold that well in my head. It was really just fun to watch those big boys hit each other. Like, but like I do think it is a pretty standard thing that kaiju have special powers. So maybe all their special powers at first when we see. Because first we just see destruction happening, and then when we actually see their side, we see how their powers make it harder for them to play. So there's like an electric guy who keeps shocking his teammates. There's a guy who like produces a lot of slime, so he's constantly dropping the ball and slipping. And but then like later on we see him when he's fighting the mechs, like the static guy is able to like turn the robots off. The slimy guy is able to like make a pathway where they fall down before they can tackle the guy who really has the ball, or stuff like that. Is and the little guy's so nimble he can run between the legs and do other stuff that like the other kaiju can't. So it's like it's really we gotta find these.
Everyone's special and has their own talent.
Yes, and
through teamwork, anything is possible.
And I think honestly, the rock and roll is less. I think it's less of an ingrained thing. I think it's almost like
rock and roll is a post thing. Sort of like the theme is sort of like how BioShock is to jazz, right? How jazz, kind of is the theme of
That's just our soundtrack.
It's soundtrack, and like maybe there even are kind of like there's kind of a musical energy to this.
Right.
Because why the fuck not? Let's make it a musical.
Yeah.
Like why not?
Kaiju the musical. Kaiju the musical. It is
Kaiju musical. It's Kaiju musical.
It is. Oh my god.
I just didn't want to say it. I didn't want to do that.
Jesus.
We're making Kaiju musical.
I want this more than anything else on Earth. Like I want it. I want this to be a thing. But yes. So it's really more now. There are just these elements where they're breaking off into song. We have our main kaiju,
which is our nerdy guy.
Yeah. Instead of Godzilla, he's called.
I don't know. Can you bring up some word? Because they all have names. I'd like
kaiju.
Godzilla using Troy.
Kaiju. I want to know some. I need some dialect.
Kaiju name. There's King Ghidorah, Rodan.
Can you type in smallest kaiju?
Kaiju size trick.
What?
Biolante. And I mean, he's into biology. It makes perfect sense. Into intellectualism.
So do we just want to rip off?
Well, no. Well, let's remix it. So let's take the word So,
well, I mean, like, I also do like the idea of like they all have their own names that are pretty regular, but like the humans give them these terrifying.
oh, okay. Let's take a kaiju name and smash it with like Andrew. You know, like Bio Andrew. You know what I'm saying? But like better than that.
God, Andrew. Good day, Andrew. It's me. Good day, Andrew.
Good day, Andrew. So okay, kind of
George.
Canthony, like, you know what I mean?
Well, like I do like the hear me out. Like, what if it was like the humans like call them things or and we don't have to. I honestly, we usually kind of skip over names, and I'm kind of fine with doing that here. But I'm like the general idea would be that like their name is like Latin or it's like derived from another language and it means something like
right.
you know for the big electric guy. He's called like
electricity.
He's called like the lightning lizard or whatever.
Oh,
but then
like
it's
that.
like a Latin thing. And like, what am I called? The Latin lizard. He's like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then we get to our protagonist's name. It's like, what does my name mean? And it's like, oh, you're called like
Small Smart One.
No,
No.
I mean, I think they would just call him like the Runt or something like that. Like it's
okay, so
derived
something
from
not
the Runt.
not nice.
Yeah, and he's like,
definitely not.
and he's like, really?
Nah.
Oh.
Like, really? I'm like 80 times the size of you. Yeah, but I mean, compared to everyone else.
He like just knocks over a building because he fucking can't.
Oops.
Well, I guess I'm just too small.
But like, yeah. So we have our nerdy guy. So maybe it's more like he's like hanging out on this little. So maybe it's less that these humans get dragged to the city. Well, but they still very much need the high school.
Well, I mean,
but if they're coming from their undergrad, I think they could even maybe take some humans to visit the high school area eventually.
I mean, the humans can just kind of walk onto the high school, whatever, because it's literally Central Park. I mean, they plopped it literally on Central Park.
I don't think I think that's where they go for the games. I don't think that's where like the kaiju are always hanging out.
I thought they were just constantly.
I think
like,
they live underwater. I like that. Yeah,
they just kind of basically like sink into this because that's a classic. Every kaiju related thing is like we have a disturbance in the ocean and this monster rises out of the sea and destroys us.
So basically, like humans have like a week-long peace period before the next game.
Yeah.
So like you know how like football teams will like run through like a silver banner. And it's just like Godzilla team, just a kaiju team, just running out of the ocean,
running through a skyscraper held sideways. But so maybe how this I'm trying to think how the humans and kaiju meet. I think that's the first thing. Well, is how do the humans get in a situation where they can understand what is happening with these kaiju?
I got it.
The magic artifact, finding that cone.
But like, let's say this nerdy kaiju on the football team. Like he's on the team, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's like benched.
Right, constantly. Oh, and when he's like benched, somehow he picks up the most stereotypical football player human ever. So he's like this nerdy.
Yeah.
No, jock.
Yeah, so he picks up a jock on accident.
So how does
and the jock brings like his coach and like some other people's like, guys, this is gonna be crazy. Trust me.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a classic scene.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna show you something. You need to not freak out. And everyone's like, we're not gonna freak out, dude. Whatever. He's like, okay. Hey, Andrew! And then like out of the water, just this giant kaiju head rises up, and everyone's like, whoa!
So standard jock brings his entire team plus football coach to the docks. Andrew comes out of the water, they meet, they talk, and the coach is like, okay, I'll coach you guys. We can make this happen.
So how does our jock find the cone?
Hobo.
Yeah, maybe it is just like this ancient, like I
fucking love hobos.
You know what other movie I didn't expect to ever talk about for any reason? Shazam. Maybe it's something similar to that. It's almost like this old like wizard kind of character, just like randomly this football player like basically like stumbles into this cave while he's going down the beach one day or something like that.
Yeah, he's on like a training run and he trips over this fucking megaphone.
Yeah, he's like running on the
holding the megaphone. Hobo holding. I just want that.
I like it being a megaphone.
And he trips over the hobo and the megaphone, and then the hobo's like, I don't know, like this is very annoying. Like you can just have this thing.
Well, he's like, what's this? In this cave also happens to be where this runt kaiju goes to like. Goes, yeah, like it's his special place.
It's a giant cave.
And so as he's holding up the thing, he's like looking at it, and suddenly the monster roars at him, and he screams, and the monster looks at him for a second, And as he screams, the guy falls down. The cone turns around, and the monster said, "Did you just scream?" And he hears it translated, and he's like, "Did you just talk?" Like,
yeah.
Perfect. And he's just like lying there, and they're like, "Oh, like shit, right?" I'm like, "Oh, you're here." Like the monster, and so that gets registered.
Yeah, and then
he's like, "You've been destroying our fucking city every Saturday night, like every given Sunday,
and
like whatever."
And he's like, and the monster's basically like, we didn't even know there was anyone. Like the humans are so small, they don't even fucking like register. Like, we didn't know there was anybody there. Like we didn't know we were doing anything. And that's when he takes the kid to go see Monster High or whatever.
Right.
He's like, okay, he cuffs him in his hand, he swings into the water, he takes him, and then they emerge into the underwater city, and he lets it out, and he just sees all these people like walking around, and I love the idea of it. Literally, just looks exactly like a high school.
Yes, for fucking sure. Like a bell goes off, and it's like muffled through the water, like.
Yeah, it's like, welcome to Kaiju High. As you can see, it was like we got this great art.
Kaiju cheerleaders, like kaiju nerdy kids.
Yeah, and like you see like kaiju,
goths.
Like you see like the slime guy who was like attacking the city earlier, like who they was like left the slime trails all over the city. He's like painting with his slime on a big canvas. And you got the electric guy in science class like sparking up some like Tesla coils and stuff like that.
Just fucking shit up, like.
And all the while, like, everyone's like, what's this? And he's carrying it. He's like, okay, people are going to get suspicious. So he's carrying around in like a terrarium, essentially.
Yeah.
So, it's my science
he puts some like
Mrs.
moss in there. Like, you like this, right? Like
humans eat this, right? And he just like puts a big rock in there. He's like, ain't you supposed to be one of the smart ones? Like, and so this goes on, and he goes to watch football practice, and he's like, "Oh, we got football too. That's crazy." And he watches him. He's like, "This is pretty bad, man." He's like, we're not very good." And he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna help you out, but I'm gonna need some help as well." And so they drive him back, and he gets his team, and it's all coach. Like it's his football player friends, it's his coach, it's like a sports announcer, like
oh my god, like a whole team,
it's this random group of people, and they're all coming and working with the kaiju, and then it comes back in these tiny guys
some cheerleaders. We need some cheerleaders in the group. Okay.
And after they find this cone, let's say that one of the nerdy kaiju is able to replicate it, so there can be multiple cones at this point, so that you can have so you have these tiny little guys. Essentially, you have all these tiny people running these drills for these huge monsters. And also, every once in a while, we're breaking the song. I mean, there's these perfect opportunities as the football player. Maybe he was about to get drafted, or he was about to go. Maybe he was just out of high school. He had just gotten drafted to a new team, and the stadium got destroyed, and so he couldn't play football anymore. And he's going, and he's still training because he's like, I don't know what I do. I'm gonna have to get transferred somewhere else. He runs into he's having his song where he's singing on the beach at the same time. The kaiju's in the cave singing about how he can't win his football game. And
I can't play, I can't win.
And like the final thing,
heart to heart.
Yeah, and then like the final thing is as they're finishing, the music's building as he stumbles. The music stops with him like stumbling into the cave and falling and finding the cone, and then that happens. And as he's showing him the school, he's introducing all the areas. It's like the classic, like very much like the High School Musical as like these are all the different kinds of like they're just like singing about these are all this is not a song in High School Musical, but they're basically just singing about like these are all the clubs and all the stuff we do, and and check it out, and
it's just like a normal high school, and
and then there's obviously the training montage is another great time for a rock and roll Eye of the Tiger-esque let's get these monsters going.
Like the coach just drawing out plays on a giant chalkboard.
Yeah.
On the side of a building. Okay.
He's on one of those the scaffolding, moving up and down.
I do love the idea of him having to draw a giant. He's literally standing on a giant clipboard with a little thing on it. So he draws it next you're gonna be here. And he's driving. He's Parker, and you're gonna run over here, and then you're gonna. It's running back and forth in these plays, and through all this, and as they're training him, they're helping them rebuild the city. and all this other stuff. And,
Karma accommodated.
Yeah, and then finally the big game comes, and it's looking like it's gonna be close. But this time, not only and I like the idea that maybe in the final game, not only this time are the kaiju, like now they found their special skills and they're working together better, but they're also stopping the other kaiju from like destroying anything. Like they're like you see like there's a very crucial play where one of the guys going for a catch and he sees this other kaiju who's like
about to smash a building,
and he misses the catch so he can stop the kaiju from hitting the building. Like, and
karma.
And you know the other two's like, "Ha, you idiots! Like you just like that was the best." It was like, "No, we still have a chance. We still have a chance." And
pep talk.
And and that's when things get close. It comes down to the wire. And it's like there's only one way we're gonna win this game. It's like we gotta form mega kaiju, and like that's when all the robots form, and they're like, "How are we supposed to beat that?" And then they have to use the power of teamwork to overcome it. And
then they do.
Yeah,
and they win.
And then the conclusion here is that Central Park is now a converted football park.
Kaiju football stadium. The humans now go to watch kaiju football.
Or maybe they build a big platform on the ocean or something.
Bro,
like a big floating field.
Somewhere safer.
But for the scene, right, like for the final football game, like you have like all the humans out in force and like in support of like
they're watching it on TV. Like it's like a live stream.
They're watching on TV. They're hanging out of like buildings.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Yelling,
exactly.
Like on rooftops. Like and that's one of the things. Like if the kaiju crashed into one of these buildings, like
fucked all those people.
Yeah, and so they risk to save that. I mean, I think that, like I said,
I think
this
that at any cost.
Yeah,
I'm there. Like fuck it. Yeah.
I mean, I think the story once again. I think it's pretty easy for us to get to all this point, and I think we captured all these things pretty well. So I guess now we can just kind of talk through more specific stuff because I mean we got a good 20 minutes left. I think of this.
We have about 14 minutes left.
Yeah. So I mean, so we have that was our general story. But so let's talk about what these kaiju's powers could be, because I do like the idea there's a big electric lizard and
slime guy, as we said,
big slime blob kind of like dude.
I think Mothra's there, but Mothra doesn't play football.
Why?
Mothra's retired. He's on the teaching staff. Yes, the teaching staff is all like iconic kaiju monsters.
Yes.
Mothra's why don't we want a giant moth?
We could have a big flying thing. Like we could have like a big like pterodactyl motherfucker. I'm just saying. Yes. I love the idea of all of the that's the glory days of the team was when they had like the old school kaiju. We're like the dream team.
And Mechagodzilla is the coach
of the other team. 100%.
Yes.
All right.
We don't even know that. We don't even know that till way late in it, because like the coach doesn't even show up to the games because it's so easy. But it's like, Coach, something's going on. We need you down here, and then beams down and it's Mechagodzilla, and Godzilla's the coach of the football team.
Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect.
So yeah, you got obviously
more kaiju powers.
Yeah, obviously you got a flying guy. Then maybe there's
the run ends up being really quick.
Yeah, you got that, and then you just have one kind of big awkward guy.
Yeah, classically.
Like just some like super rocks. Big kaiju. Yeah, right. He is just like some kind of like golem stone-esque
muscle. Yeah,
and then like you also, I mean, nobody's secondary. Like, well, you can have a bunch of like basically just off-brand Godzillas on the team.
I think we'd have multiples of each of these different types for sure.
Yeah, and like there'll be multiple flying people and multiple stuff like that. But I'm just thinking like the specific moments of like what these smaller kaiju can, what the
one that jumps really high. I want one that
that's fun. That's fun.
Yeah.
One that's basically he's just like one big leg.
Like
yes.
It's like a snake, but it has a snake head, but it's attached to like a leg with a foot. Like
what? I'm here for it.
Just.
We need like a Hydra type,
Yeah, someone that's involved in water. Yeah. And they're doing, and they're winning through like they're playing much better football, but they're also using some crafty tricks, making the field slick, and
they're being clever
and like basically like Harlem Globetrotters-esque football.
Yes. Just absolutely ridiculous.
You know when this is gonna be dumb, so bear with me for a second.
Unlike the rest of this movie.
Well, I mean, Anyways.
I feel like we're very on track for Space
You know,
Jam-esque sports.
This is an educational
sports
moment.
scenes.
You know when
It's literally
you throw the football through the
it's invaders from Space
thing.
Jam.
You know what I'm talking about? What is the purpose of that exactly?
What's the point of what?
Throwing a football through a tire?
No, that
Oh.
big metal thing.
Well, they don't throw it.
That's
they
a
kick
field
it.
goal.
Yeah, fuck you. See, I told you it was gonna be dumb. So
It's
okay.
a field goal.
And so what? Why does that happen? Bear with me.
You get 3 points.
So
Or-
extra points for getting that.
So if you can't make it all the way to get a touchdown,
Right.
you can choose to instead kick it through there to get 3
wow.
points from
I'm
where
not
you're
a
currently
football
standing.
person.
That's
There
fair.
also, if you score a touchdown, you can kick it through there to get an additional point. But if you miss, you don't get that point.
Okay, cool. Anyways, I had an idea. Maybe it'll come up later.
So that's our leg man is special teams for sure.
Yeah.
He's the one who's making all those kicks.
Yeah, he's making those.
Yeah, I have him as a runner, but he's so awkward with his hopping. Like they're like, "You're the leg guy. You got to run," and they're like, "Nah, man. We're
He
using
just gotta
the
kick."
secret special teams." And like, and then they have him practice kicking.
What if the game comes down to a field goal?
He's not special enough. It has to be the smart one.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Has
Could
to.
be.
2-point conversion.
I like the idea. I like the idea of like
Okay.
a fake field goal because it's like they're fighting the mecha guy.
Okay.
He's gonna block, so they're looking, and like the final thing is the big guy's like, "I've got you now," and the guy's like, "I don't even have the ball." And it's the running in with
Yeah,
the
yeah,
football,
yeah,
scoring
exactly.
final touchdown.
Exactly.
Makes it, and there's fireworks and
There's.
a big rock concert,
Yes.
and everyone sings "Kumbaya," and then they rebuild the destruction that they have wrought.
And build
Perfect.
their giant football stadium in the middle of the ocean.
Right. Or
Where-
just
And
right
it's a
next
joint
to.
stadium. Like one side is the Kaiju, and the other side, our main guy who trained the Kaiju, his new football team plays there as well.
Nice.
And
And
so they can
I
train
want
and
to be
play
right
together.
beside the Statue of Liberty, so the pan out shot could just be like,
Mhm.
football, like cool, like humans
Oh,
and
you-
them, and then it's like, oh, it's such a whatever, pan around, and then like, dun dun dun,
You know,
credits.
it would be really cool. Like at the end, like what if it's almost like they're playing like holographic football games, so the Kaiju and the people can play together, like they're like in this system.
I'm
that
sorry,
lets them-
VR is not on the list.
I know, but we always have.
I'm just
but
kidding.
I
I'm
just love
just
the
kidding.
idea
I'm
of,
just
like,
kidding.
of
Here
them,
for
like
it.
the football players lining up. And,
Yeah.
but maybe not that. Maybe they're just playing in the same arena. Who knows? It's all gonna depend on the boys upstairs and what they think.
But it all
What do
started
we-
with this magic artifact. This magic bullhorn.
The cone.
The cone.
I just keep thinking of the cone of Dunshire
Yes.
from Parks and Rec.
And you know what? I think
I think it's just called the cone.
I have a touch on religion here. So I mean, they have the karmic
Fancier than
religion,
that.
right? And
Yeah.
the point of karma is that it has checks and balances. It all is about being equal, right?
Yeah.
And so within this religion that which we don't need to get into too deeply is like the cone is a manifestation of the religion itself, that which where they go.
The cone of karma.
Right. And so like let's say they went to another planet, it would be in the form of something else, whatever inhabited that weird other world. But basically it's the manifestation of balance.
Yeah. I like that. I don't think we need to dwell too much on it
No, I
in
know.
a story sense, but since we're world building, it is
Because
important to
We're
have
here
that.
right now. Because
Um,
we have 14. 7.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. I see. I see now.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Could you lift that up for the camera really fast?
For those not
Okay.
for those not watching the video, listening to the audio only, because this past section is going to be a real riot. He just held up. Josh has a tattoo of a watch on his wrist, and he looked at it when Linnea looked at the time.
Mention time. Yeah.
And that's the level of comedy we can bring you
Not
anytime.
Anytime.
On the Construction
Anymore.
Podcast.
This is not supposed to be this much of an interruption.
But yeah,
I thought it was just weird abstraction. Like
Anyway.
Kaiju School Musical.
Kaiju
you're wearing it like a military person.
school music. Anyway.
I'm so sorry.
Here's the other thing. I have not watched a Godzilla movie in a grip. It has been a while since I've watched anything Godzilla related.
Me
Me
neither.
either.
I heard the new
So
ones
we're
actually
qualified.
aren't terrible, but like, I mean, the original ones are just kind of funny to watch because I mean, it's literally people in big suits. Like no joke, like the original Godzilla was just a guy in a Godzilla costume who's running around crushing a model city.
Yeah. That would be fun.
Well, I'm not saying we do it that way. I'm just saying like, I feel like maybe we're missing something that's iconic to Godzilla movies, and I'm sorry if we are. I don't know that much about it. Like, Godzilla, honestly, is kind of confusing to me because he starts out the bad guy, but later on in the movie, he's the good guy who defends humans. I don't know if they ever even explain why.
Maybe he just flip-flops and like, yeah, every once in a while,
Godzilla just wants to fuck shit up. Godzilla's just gonna go for the biggest boy in the room.
Chaotic neutral.
We did a pretty extensive like walk through the story already. I don't think we really need to go through it again. But basically, it's just your classic underdog story. The sports team that's failing and has to bring in the ringer to teach them how to work together. They just happen to be
humans
the size of buildings.
Twice the size of buildings.
Our players just happen to be the size of buildings, and have to work together with humans to overcome their spaceship dwelling alien hybrid counterparts.
And
wait, really quick. Why do they keep playing this football
rivals.
game? Is it really just a high school rivalry?
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
I was about to say, there's why they're there, why they're doing it.
Yep.
I'm not going to think about it too much because this is an idea you can't think about too much.
No, it falls apart.
As soon as we got Kaiju in high school in the same.
This is barely threaded together. Like, this is some threadbare shit storytelling.
But it's there.
But it's there.
It's there, and I want it. Like, there were other ideas that I wanted because, like, they were good ideas. And this is not an idea I want because it's necessarily a good idea. I want this because I just want to see it. I just want to see it.
This is a story for audacity's sake.
And this is just like I don't know. I can't even think of like what I would compare this to.
And that's
High School Musical.
But
not at all. So I mean,
I
want to compare it to High School Musical.
I know.
It's just like it's like a combination of all like the most ridiculous kinds of movies. Like, no joke. You have your monster movie, which are always just like, let's just see some things, slug it out. You got your sports movies, which usually don't have much more story to them,
other than win the game.
Yeah,
the big
and like
rivalry.
you end up rooting for the team while you go along. And then it's like musical on top of that, which in my opinion, like I am a big fan of musicals.
So,
I've worked a lot of musicals. Yeah, the storytelling of musicals usually is kind of weak. Like
very loose.
Yeah, it's usually all spectacle. Like this is like the spectacle of all spectacles would be this movie.
Which is why I would
very
like it
shallow storytelling.
I quite love it. But you have some depth of the bond between, the nerdy guy and the human football player. So you got some, like
the jock and the nerd and like the
they come together to like win a game to music.
Yeah. And
Kaiju musical. Rock and roll experience.
Kaiju musical.
Yeah, so Kaiju musical coming soon to everything.
Broadway.
Yeah.
Fucking Broadway.
Fuck it. Yeah, why not? Why not? Let's just make it a Broadway musical. Yeah, we're gonna King Kong this motherfucker, and we're gonna fucking make it a musical. Because it already wasn't gonna be hard enough to do any of this bullshit. Yeah, let's just do it. Fuck it. Fuck it. No one cares anymore. I'm Anthony Wilkinson signing off. We'll see you next week.
I'm Josh Robbins.
Linnea Andersson.
And happy building, I guess.
Doses.